Hello, everybody. I am here. I am live. I am here to really talk about I just wanted to share my perspective of. I wanted to pop on and I wanted to share my perspective of how things exist and how things work. And so I'm really going to kind of give you a foundation. Hello. I'm really going to give you a foundation of what my perspective on life and manifestation and how it all works, the subconscious mind, like how all of that really works in my perspective. So the only thing that is constant is change. If you think about evolution, you think about nature, you think about the seasons, you think about anything, everything is always changing. That is the only constant is change. There's a cat that's going to jump up on my lap because I am talking, and we have a little attention-loving fur friend with us today. So anyways, the only thing that's constant is change. Everything is always shifting. Everything is always growing. And so change doesn't happen. It's not just jumping from one thing to another. It happens in this evolution of building upon the foundation that you already have. And so if you think about a child builds upon their skill sets of they are able to learn fine motor skills once they've learned and once they've developed those gross motor skills. So you can learn to walk once you learn how to balance, but once you learn how to stand. And so you don't just go from walking, it's built upon different steps. It's built upon crawling, it's built upon rolling over, it's built upon all of those foundational movements that you gain, and then all of a sudden you're walking. So the same happens in every aspect of our lives. It happens in our minds, it happens in our thoughts, it happens in every area of our existence. And so the one place that I kind of want to talk about it is in your mind. And so we get thoughts, and we create thought habits and thought patterns. And so how this works, if you think about just learning how to drive, we'll go with that one. Oh my goodness. So if you think about learning how to drive, when you first get in the car for that first time, it seems like there's so many steps between getting in the car and actually driving down the road. You're not, whatever, she's gonna be on the desk. I don't want you on the desk though. Oh, we're being interrupted. So when you first learn how to drive, the first time you get in the car, there's so many steps. You get in the car, you adjust your seat, you adjust your mirrors, you adjust all of the things, you turn the car on, you do all of these things in order to get started. And now, when you think about getting in the car and going to drive to work or wherever it is, to the grocery store, to wherever you need to go, you're not thinking about all of those steps, because all of those steps were originally a pattern. And so your brain picked up on, okay, me getting in the car, it's not just gonna be me getting in the car, and I don't have to think about every single step every single time. I don't have to think about, okay, I'm gonna get in the car, I'm gonna turn the car on, I'm gonna put on my seatbelt, I'm gonna put the car in reverse, I'm gonna check my windows, I'm gonna do all of these things. We don't think about it. We don't have to think about it because it's assumed and it's automated. And so the subconscious mind takes over these things that we consciously have to think about over and over. And so the first time you got into a car to drive, it was get in the car, put on my seatbelt, put the car in reverse, put all of these steps. And now it happens like that. Now you don't think about it. It's body memory, it's mind memory, it's a memory that's ingrained into your subconscious, and you can think about other things. So our subconscious mind makes, I want to say it's like 99.99999% of the decisions for our life, and it's based off of the decisions that we have consciously made. And so if you are making conscious decisions every day, those are eventually going to become automated. And then you can consciously focus on different things because everything that you've focused on previously becomes automatic, it becomes natural, it becomes a habit, becomes a subconscious habit. And so most of our lives are handled subconsciously. I mean, how many times can you think, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's already the weekend. I don't know where the week went. I don't know where my time went. I don't remember what happened this week. So many things, thank you. We live our lives on autopilot. It's this law of hypnotic rhythm where something happens and then you get into a pattern, and you get into a pattern and a pattern and a pattern, and it's hard to pull yourself out. And so because we naturally build upon the habits, we build upon the automation that we've created. It's this foundation that we go through and we go through and we go through, and we're going to build on and build on and build on. Because that is how we live, we need to change the foundation if we're actually going to see regular change in our lives. You can't just change your thoughts. You have to change that foundational pattern of what's going on automatically underneath the surface. You can't just think positive thoughts. You can't just think, oh, I'm going to be grateful for 5 things today and expect it to be different. It happens at that foundational subconscious layer. And so if you want to create lasting change in the direction that you want, if you want your entire life to feel manifested and easy and growing and supported and, expansive and good and going towards success, that foundation, those automated thoughts, those automated subconscious habits need to be reprogrammed and need to be changed. And so you can change them in a couple of ways. The first thing that you can do is you can recognize that there's going to be a trigger. And once that trigger happens, you can say, okay, I know this trigger is coming. Once it gets here, I'm going to choose a different thought. And so if the trigger is every time you open your bank account, you feel sad and depressed and broke because you don't like the numbers that are there. If that's the pattern, if opening your bank account is the trigger that leads to, I don't feel good about myself, I feel shame, I feel guilt, I feel like a bad person because I am always broke and I never have enough money. If the reality is that you want to change, if you want to change the reality of I feel broke, then you're going to have to change that trigger. So you're going to have to react differently. So there's this thing it's called the experience loop. So you have an experience. The experience is going to lead to results. Results are going to lead to thoughts. You're going to think about the results. And then you're going to create emotions. You're going to experience emotions based off of your thoughts about how the actions and the results of that event happened. So we have action, result, thought, feeling. Action, result, thought, feeling. And so anywhere in this cycle, you get to shift it. You can shift your thoughts. You can choose to think different things. You see the result. It's not what you wanted. Are you going to allow that result to create the actions and then influence the actions that you are going to have? Are you going to be a victim to that? Are you going to say, okay, because this didn't go how I wanted, I'm going to act in an energy of this didn't go how I wanted, and then the next result that I'm going to get, the next experience is also going to be not what I wanted because that's the energy that I'm creating it in? Or are you going to say, okay, this didn't go the way I wanted it to. I'm going to choose to think differently. I'm going to choose to feel differently. I'm going to choose to act differently, and then I'm going to see different results. Once you change that a couple times, once you consciously choose that a couple times, it's going to become automated. It's going to become part of that subconscious programming. It's going to become part of that foundational habit. And then you can build on that, and then you can grow on that, and then you can improve on that. So how I see thoughts and beliefs and all of these things they don't mean anything about us. I think the biggest problem that I see is people assume that their thoughts and their beliefs, we judge ourselves for them as being bad. We judge, I am bad because I have this negative thought. I am bad because I have this negative habit. I am bad because I don't feel good. And so not only are you not feeling good about whatever the situation is, you're feeling broke when you open your bank account, but you're also judging yourself for feeling broke because you're aware that your thoughts and feelings create your reality. And so there's this stepping back where as soon as you're aware that you're in control and that you create all of this, then you start judging yourself. Because then you know, oh, I can fuck it up. And then you realize, oh, I can fuck it up. What if I'm fucking this up? What if I'm messing this up? What if I'm doing this wrong? And so you judge yourself for having that negative thought and having that negative experience, even though just the fact that you're aware that that's negative and you've decided to choose something differently, you're good. It's not your fault that you have negative thoughts. It's the patterns and the beliefs that you've been instilled with. It's happened, okay? It is what it is. You can recognize it, you can feel shame, and you can feel guilt, and you can continue down that spiral where you're letting the fact that you don't have positive thoughts or you have negative thoughts dictate how you respond, which is you being a victim of your reality. Or you can see it, think about it, detach from it, not judge yourself for it, and choose to act differently. And so you can choose to act in a different way. You can say, okay, this isn't what I wanted. Awesome. I'm not going to feel bad about it. I'm not going to blame myself for it. I'm not going to feel guilty about this. I'm going to see it. I'm going to recognize it, and then I'm going to consciously choose to act in a different way and to feel a different way so that I can get a different result. The biggest thing that I see people doing wrong is blaming themselves and judging themselves. You're going to have negative thoughts because thoughts are just another thing that we observe. You are not your thoughts. You are the person observing your thoughts. And so yes, thoughts and emotions and things that go on inside your head, those do create the boundaries of your reality. They do create that truth. And so if you want to reprogram that, if you want to change your reality, you want to change all of this stuff, you want to change what you're seeing in your experience, detach from the thoughts. Stop feeling guilty and blaming yourself for having negative thoughts. Because if you still believe, money doesn't grow on trees or whatever it is that your parents told you when you were younger, and then you're blaming yourself and you're feeling guilty for thinking that and for believing that and for that being a condition and being a foundation of your reality, you're blaming yourself for something that you heard from someone else, that you picked up from someone else, that you had no idea you didn't even know that you were available to choose for that to be true or not. You didn't know that you didn't know it was possible to say, I don't want that to be true for me. And so you're blaming yourself and you're feeling guilty for yourself and you're feeling bad about yourself and you're judging yourself for believing these things that you were taught that you had no idea you could choose were right or wrong. You didn't understand truth. You didn't understand that concept. So this guilt cycle of I know how to manifest and it didn't happen and therefore I must be wrong, I must be bad, that needs to stop. Because that's only perpetuating the cycle of I don't feel good, I don't get the results that I want. It's perpetuating that cycle. So somewhere in the cycle, you control 3 of the 4 things. You control your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. The only thing you don't control, but you do control based off of the other 3 things, is the result. And so a big thing that people get wrong is that manifestation is this linear process. And I hate the fact that people teach it this way. But people teach that choose what you want, then write down every single reason why you don't believe that you are worthy and that all of your limiting beliefs of why you can't have it. First of all, that's bullshit and we should stop doing that. Anyways. But it's not this linear cycle. It's not that you have to choose what you want, go through all of the reasons why you don't believe you can have it, and then maybe if you've cleared up all of these limiting beliefs and you manifest right and you stay in the right energy and you're aligned enough and you do all of these things right, then it'll happen. That's not true, because you are always going to have negative thoughts. You are always going to be working on things. The moment that you are done with the work that you are here to do is going to be the moment that you pass on. The moment where you're done with this life. The moment where you are no longer in this body. Don't know what's happening with my voice. So you're always going to be doing the work, and manifestation is not a linear process, because when it becomes this linear process, it becomes possible for you to mess up and for you to screw it up and for you to fuck up the process and fuck up the results. And so if you are thinking of, oh, I have to think perfect thoughts, I have to feel perfect emotions, I have to take perfect actions in order to get this result, you're creating so much resistance and so much strain around what is possible. You're limiting yourself, and you're creating a world where it's possible for you to mess it up. And so when we stop looking at manifestation as a linear process, it gets to just be. And so there's this energy that I teach where we're not attached to our thoughts. We're not attached to our emotions. We're very, okay, I'm observing this. When you realize that you really are just the observer and that you can shift and you can tweak things, you can see things that happen outside of you. You can see that experience and you can choose to react to it. You react to it as you respond to it instead of reacting to it. I think that's a better way of putting it. So you're going to say, okay, this thing happened. It's not exactly what I wanted. I'm going to use that as feedback and I'm going to shift my actions so that I can feel better and act differently and get different results. That's effortless. That's manifestation. That's living in a space where you're building on your habits. You're using those core foundational habits. You're using that automation. You're saying, this doesn't feel good. I'm going to tweak it a little bit. But you're not blaming yourself for doing it wrong. Because right and wrong, that duality of good and evil, right and wrong, good and bad, that's a very human thing. To your soul, none of that matters. It's just different. And so if you're saying this is bad, I am bad for doing this, that's pulling your energy down. That's pulling your creative power down. That's pulling your vibration down. Or you can say, I'm powerful. I'm magical. I'm creative. I am amazing. And this didn't go quite how I wanted. That's okay. Doesn't mean that I'm bad. It just means that I'm still learning, because I am always still learning. I am always still growing. I am always changing. I am always evolving. I am always evolving past and evolving on and building on that foundation of automation that's in my subconscious mind. So the detachment from the thoughts is huge. So if you see yourself attacking yourself, that's a negative thing, where you're attacking yourself of, okay, so this bad thing happened. This result showed up. It's not exactly what I wanted. Okay. Then you're going to cycle. And so your brain's going to go, oh my God, you're so bad. You screwed this up. I can't believe you did that. Of course you can't believe in yourself enough. You're just not good enough. Why did you think that you could do that in the first place? And you're going to start attacking yourself. You notice that those negative thoughts are never actually about you, the observer. They're about your identity. Because a lot of this core level beliefs and this core level manifestation, these core level thoughts are at that foundational level of identity. It's about who you think you are and your perception of you. You will actually never have a true idea of who you are. It's just a perception. It's just the information that you've gathered about yourself based off of other people's reactions to you. That's really what your identity is. And so if you think about, you all have this version of me in your head of who you think I am. And I have a version of me in my head of who I think I am. It's probably not going to match up. I have versions of people who there's certain people that I think are absolutely terrible people and that I really don't like. And I'm sure that those people, there are people in that person's life who think that they're amazing, who think that they're not a bully and that they're great and that they're generous and that they're kind. And just because of my experience of that person, I've created this identity for them. We also do it for ourselves. We also do this based off of the things that we are attuned to look for, the things that we are consciously focused on, and the things that are in our perception. And so if once upon a time I was told that I'm not a hard worker and that I'm lazy, I'm going to look at everything in my experience and I'm going to filter it against that. Someone said I'm lazy and I'm going to start looking for proof of that. I'm going to start looking for it everywhere. And so I could be the hardest working student. I could be the hardest working person. I could be the hardest working business owner. Whatever it is, I could be the hardest working person and I can still have that perception of I am lazy. And that's true for me. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. If it's true for me, then that's true for me. And then, so the core identity is I am lazy. I don't work hard enough. I could have worked harder. And so we do this around the actions of our manifestations. And so if you say something like, I have limiting beliefs around money. Money is my biggest issue, or I just can't believe in myself hard enough. Or you're looking at your identity and you're saying, I still have these problems because once upon a time that was true for me. You're gonna get the same results. And so it's not necessarily the limiting beliefs, because every belief that we have is limiting in some capacity. Because for you to believe in something, you have to put all of your faith in that this is the only truth, and anything that opposes this is not true. It's holding on to consistency, and we need consistency. We need order, we need structure in our reality, because if we had no structure, we would just be atoms and dots and things floating around. What's true for me and what I believe is that all of the atoms in this space belong to me and that they are part of my human body. And I can choose to love them, I can choose to hate them, I can choose whatever I want about them, but I'm going to say that my arm isn't going to float away. It's attached to me and it's going to stay here. That's the consistency and that's the foundation of my reality. Things are solid, all of these very foundational things that we don't think about, those are constructs that we have in our heads of what is true and what isn't. And so I'm going to loop that back because I don't remember where I was going. So all of our beliefs are limiting in some capacity. And so basically, when you detach from them, if it's not this big thing about me of I am lazy, and we stop feeling guilty and we stop feeling attachment and we stop feeling attacked by the beliefs, we can shift them. We can choose to shape them so that they support our success. They don't mean anything about us. They're just the ones that we're choosing. These are just the things that I'm choosing to hold on to because these are the things that feel good to me. And so if you believe that I am worthy of success, I am worthy of feeling good, I am worthy of having the things that I want, then I'm also worthy of having the belief system that supports that. And it's not that I have to work through and let go and heal and reshape and forgive all of these things down below in my subconscious mind. I can just recognize them. I can say, okay, the rule is that the things that I need to deal with are going to show up for me, and I'm going to be led to them, and I'm going to heal them because I'm going to know what to do. It's going to be obvious and easy. I'm going to be led and guided. That can be true for me. And then I can heal those foundational things that need to be healed. I can let go of the other things that don't need to be healed. I can choose that, oh, that's interesting. That one time someone said I was lazy. I choose to not identify with that. I choose that I am not a lazy person. I actually, you know what? I'm a really hardworking person. I'm going to start looking for proof in my reality of why I'm a hardworking person. I'm going to show it to myself. I'm going to prove it to myself just to have a little bit of backup, a little bit of that cushion so that it's, you know, a little more believable. I'm not going to feel guilty for I'm not going to feel bad for judging myself for thinking that I was lazy. That's a whole cycle of bad negative feelings, and that doesn't feel good. Why am I going to do that? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to choose thoughts that feel good. I'm going to choose beliefs that support me feeling good because that's the life that I deserve. And I am in control, and I get to do that. And so if you think about your thoughts and your beliefs, really your beliefs, as like building blocks. And so you think about like a child with all of those blocks. So if you want to build a tower, if you want your blocks to be in this tower, and the tower is like, this is the, you know, whatever, that's the reality. That's just the shape of what is real for you. You're just building this tower. And you build a couple up, and then you knock them down. And then they're all over the floor. You can judge yourself for, oh my gosh, all my blocks are on the floor and they're not in a tower. I don't believe in myself enough. I'm not good enough. And you can feel bad that they're on the floor and that they didn't just jump into a tower form. Or you can say, oh, look, blocks. The blocks being on the floor doesn't mean anything bad about me. Doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. Doesn't mean that I'm a shitty tower builder. Doesn't mean anything. It just means that I have the materials to reshape, to build a tower, because the reality that I want is me with a tower of blocks next to me and not me with a tower of, or me with blocks all over the floor. Just different shapes, just different choices, just different reality. Neither one is good or bad. The tower is not better than the blocks on the floor, or the one big tower is not better than two little towers. Not good or bad, just different. And so if I want to pick up those blocks and build a tower, awesome, I can do that. I have the ability to do that. I'm going to recognize that I am in charge of my reality, which is a bunch of shapes and a bunch of blocks and a bunch of different things that are constructed by the thoughts that I think and the beliefs that I have and hold and what I choose to put my faith in. And so we get so caught up in this guilt trip. Once you learn that you're in control of your reality, you start to feel guilty. You start to feel bad about every bad thing that happened, when really it's just feedback. It doesn't have to mean anything bad about you. It doesn't have to mean that you're a bad person because you haven't done every single bit of work. It doesn't have to. The other thing that that whole like linear process, if you choose to believe this is kind of how I see things and how things work for me, because I'm just sharing how it works for me, and hopefully that's inspiring enough to help you shift things, and you'll see things differently and you'll have a different perspective. And so no matter how the process of manifesting something goes, I still get to have the outcome. And so for me, I'm currently launching a program, and I have a pretty lofty goal of like how many people I want to help, how many people I want in it, all of those things. And so even though I thought I was going to post every day and I haven't, and I thought I was going to go live more and I haven't, and I was going to journal more and I haven't had time, or I've had negative thoughts, I kind of fell into like a little bit of a spiral where I didn't feel good. I had surgery, so I was like kind of out for a couple days. You know, even though all of these things happened, I still believe that I get to have that outcome. It's that or something better. And so I'm not attached to it. It doesn't mean that I'm a bad person or I'm a failure if I don't meet that outcome. If I don't meet that outcome, I'm going to look at my actions and be like, okay, didn't feel good here. I'm going to shift a little bit and feel good better. I'm going to feel better, and it's going to be easier the next time. I'm sure that I've learned what I needed to learn in order to get the result that I want next time, to fine tune the process a little bit. And so I'm very detached from it. Of course, I want to hit this goal. It's going to be fun to hit the goal. But if I mess up the process, I'm choosing that even though all of the stuff that happened before, like no matter how that goes, I still get to get the perfect result. I still get to be happy with the results. I still get to feel good about the results. I still get to teach the perfect amount of people in this course. And next time I'll fine tune the process and get to feel better about the whole process. But, I'll feel better throughout the entire process. I will learn what I needed to learn here. And so being that detached is where you want to be. That's where you're most powerful. That's when you're in flow. Because when we're attached to outcomes, there's that duality. There's that duality of, if this doesn't happen, I am possibly a bad person. When we're attached to outcomes, it means that we're not really being honest about what we really want, first of all. And second, we're choosing that the outcome means something about us. And so a big thing about attachment is look at what you're trying to manifest. So if you're trying to manifest something, which in my opinion, absolutely everything is neutral. Nothing is good or bad, because that's like, nothing is good or bad. No matter how you look at it, you can look at it from one way and it can be good. You can look at it from another way and it can be bad. It's just perception. And so if nothing is good or bad, me hitting this goal and me not hitting this goal, both neutral outcomes, neither is good, neither is bad. And so it's not that I have to be in a high vibrational energy in order to do this. I want to be in a high vibrational energy because that's what feels good. That's where I want to be. That's the experience that I want. And so if me being in a high vibrational experience and not hitting that goal happens, cool, I still get to feel good about it. I'm not a bad person for not, for fucking up the process and for feeling bad and having negative thoughts, all of that bullshit. It gets to go how I want to go. So, there's a cat outside. Just me. Okay. He's an owner. Okay, it's fine. It's fine, guys. It's fine. I'm like worried about the cat outside. So if I don't hit the goal thing, if I do hit it, both are neutral outcomes. I want to talk about attachment. So if I am attached to, I have to meet this goal, and if I don't meet this goal, then I am not good enough. And if I do meet this goal, then I am worthy, or whatever it is. Then I will have proved myself. Then I will feel like I have the answers. Then I'll feel like I understand the process. Then I'll feel like I'm able to communicate myself. Then I'll be able to show the world how good I am. Then I'll know my own power. Then I'll know whatever it is. If you have that, once I hit this goal, then blank. Being worthy, it's usually a non-self theme of one of your 9 human design centers. So having the answers, understanding something, being able to communicate, being heard, being seen, being recognized, being able to prove yourself, having feeling good, being in control of your emotions, all of these different things that happen to do with usually your human design centers. Then I've worked hard enough, whatever it is. And so if your outcome of what you're trying to manifest, if you have an attachment to it, if it means something, you need to look at yourself carefully. Because I'm going to play with both my hands, ignore that this one's broken. So if this is where you are, this is your internal world, this is your external world. So you're kind of vibrating here, you're seeing a reflection of it, there's a mirror in the middle. And so if you say, I want to feel like this, I want to have this outcome, because me manifesting this amount of money means that I will be able to prove myself. I'll feel good enough. I will be worthy. I will be recognized. People will see me. I'll feel successful, whatever it is. But a core belief of yours, going back to that identity level of your beliefs about your identity, is I am not worthy of love. I am not worthy of being seen. People don't see me. There's a disconnect. This cannot equal this. If this equals this, this can't equal this. Because it's a mirror. And so this is where we get into a conjuring energy. And I know that there are some people who practice certain types of magic and things like that where they use conjuring in a different way. And for me, this is just the way that I understand the word. This is just, I'm not trying to say that like conjuring in general, anything associated with that word is bad. This is just how I understand conjuring versus manifestation. So manifesting is where I feel good. I'm going to change me and feel good about whatever I want. It's the be, do, have. I'm going to be the version of myself who has that already. I'm not going to attach to it. It's going to feel good the entire time. I'm just building on my foundation of feeling good and experiencing things that feel good and learning lessons along the way. Manifesting is putting pressure on your desire to make you feel a certain way. And so if we have that mirror in the middle, you're here, you've got your outer reality here. And so manifesting is, oh, okay, cool. I kind of want to see this. I want to be up here. And so you're going to shift a little bit. You're going to be here for a minute. You're going to be here and you're going to shift and it's going to happen. Your internal world, you're going to feel good here. You're going to see what you want to see. Equal feels good the whole time. Conjuring is where you're going to take this object that you have put so much meaning on. So this money, this car, this purse, this house, this, partner, whatever it is, you feel bad about yourself and you pull this high vibrational experience down to your low vibrational experience and expect it to raise you up. So you've pulled something that you've told yourself, you've created a reality where this thing is a high vibrational experience. Once I have the money, then I'll feel better. Once I have the boyfriend, once I have the romance, once I have the car, then I'll be good enough. Then I'll be seen, then I'll be worthy of love. Whatever that weird convoluted story is, once I have this, then I'll be good enough. So you have this up here and you're pulling it down. You're wanting it, you're wanting it, you're wanting it, you're wanting it. And you can do that. You can pull that down to meet your vibration. But it can't make you feel good. You've just pulled a high vibrational experience into your low vibrational reality and you're expecting it to make you feel better. And that's where we get expectations versus standards. An expectation is it's me putting my power in my reality to make me feel better. I want this thing, I'm expecting this to make me feel better. It's saying that I don't have a choice in how I feel. Things around me are responsible for making me feel good. Things around me are responsible for making me feel worthy. Things around me are responsible for making me feel loved and good enough, and all of those things. They're neutral objects. Everything around you is a neutral. It's not good or bad. And it's just your perception of I am putting the expectation on this will make me feel good. The only way that can come into your reality now is if it makes you feel better. And then it has this weird energy. It's weighed down with your expectations. It's heavy and it's not going to feel good because it's heavy with that expectation of trying to make you feel better. And it can't. It's neutral. Everything is neutral. The emotional scale is a choice. That's an internal thing. That's a conscious thing. That has nothing to do with what's going on outside of you. Because you can be there's people who are living 10 people in a 1-bedroom apartment and they are happy. They feel good. They feel free. They feel great. There's people who have billion-dollar homes who are depressed and do not feel good. It is not about what's around you. It's about how it's a choice. Happiness and feeling good is a choice. And so if you say, once I manifest this car, then I'll feel good enough, it's never going to make you feel good enough. You have to fix that foundation, which is in your subconscious mind. You have to fix your feelings. You have to fix yourself. You have to realize that you're in control. You have to consciously choose to feel better. And so if the whole point is that I want to feel better and I'm waiting for this thing outside of me to feel better, you're playing the victim in a world that you created. You made this. You did all of this. Everything in your reality, you chose. Everything in your reality, you chose. I'm looking around right now. I chose this pen. I chose this notebook. I chose this phone. I chose this shirt. I chose this haircut. I chose this water bottle. I consciously chose absolutely everything around me. You did too. Everything in your world, you chose at some point. You chose. And so if you realize that absolutely everything around you was a choice, and not just the objects, but you also chose how you were going to feel. It goes back to that experience cycle. Experience creates results. Results create thoughts. Thoughts create emotions. Emotions create actions. Actions create results. That cycle. If you're saying that the results are going to make you feel a certain way, if you are, it's a cycle, it's a circle. And so if you say this result has to make me feel a certain way, the result is this, your thoughts are not going to change because the result wasn't what you wanted. And then you're thinking about, oh, that's not what I wanted. And then you feel bad because that's not what you wanted. And then you're acting from a space of feeling bad, and you're going to get results that also make you feel bad. It's a cycle. And so somewhere along those lines, you control 3/4 of it. You control your thoughts, you control your emotions, you control your actions. At any one of those points, you can shift and choose something differently. You can change your thoughts, you can change your emotions, and you can choose to take different actions. And if you take different actions, you'll get different results. All 3 of those things are in your control. And so if you are putting yourself in this situation where this neutral object that's outside of me is somehow supposed to make me feel better and it's going to fix all my problems, it's not going to come because you're resisting it, because you are not a vibrational match for feeling better and for having your problems fixed, because you're assuming that after I get this, I'll feel better. But really, in order to get it, you have to feel better. You're not going to get it. It's not going to show up. And if it does show up, you've conjured it, and it can't make you feel better. And so we play this victim role over and over and over again of the things around me, the things that happen to me dictate how I feel, dictate how I get to live my life. And that's not true. It's not true. You're in control. And so this is this is me just coming on and talking for like a couple minutes about the entire thing, because this is everything that I like. This is what I contemplate. This is what I'm here to talk about, what I'm here to share about, what I really, really understand is getting people, and this is what I'm good at, is getting people to this perspective where they realize they're in control, they understand everything, and where they're detached from what's going on. And this detachment isn't like, it's not bad. You know what I mean? It's not like a bad detachment of like, I'm not going to feel things, I'm detached from the world, I'm like not emotional. It's where you're not blaming yourself for having bad thoughts. It's where you're not choosing to be a victim of your reality. It's where you're seeing things show up for you and you're like, okay, not quite what I wanted. Tweak a little bit, get something different. It's where you're in a seat of control and power, and it's where you're being guided and where you've put rules into place where you're allowed to be guided, where you get to see the results, and where your actions are creating a lot more impact. Another big thing is that you create value. Value is also a made-up concept. And so if you say, let's kind of go in percentages. So actions up to 100% equal result. So you have to create 100% of action in order to get the result that you want. If you say that the action is saying an affirmation, if the affirmation is based off of you, is worth 100%, you can say it one time with 100% effort, and it gets to be the result that you want. It gets to create that change. Or you can say that action is worth 1%. And so then you're going to have to say that affirmation 100 times for you to get the result. You decide how far away things are. That's another one. How far away does your first $1 million feel? Can you taste it? Does it feel really close? Does it feel right here? Or does it feel like a big deal? It's not a big deal. It's just your perception of it. You've decided that it's a big deal. You've decided that it's far away. It feels far away because that's where you are. That's the programming. That's where you are. That's your foundation. You say, oh, okay, that feels really far away. What can I do about it? How can I change it? You can change it. You can choose to change it. Like, actually, it's not that far. You look for proof. So you see what you want. You kind of gauge where you are. You look at your foundation. Where am I with this? Does this feel far away? We're not judging ourselves. It's not a bad thing that feels far away. That's just where you are. Cool. How do I get from where I are to where I want to go? Where I am to where I want to go? How do you get from where you are to where you want to go? You make decisions. You decide, okay, It's that direction. I'm deciding that it's not a big deal for me to get there and that I can take these actions and these actions will get me there. And I'll be guided to anything else I need to do along the way. It's effortless. It's so much easier than you think it is. You are so much more powerful than you give yourself credit for. You're such a bigger deal in this reality than you're allowing yourself to be. So, the first thing that you got to do is you have to give yourself permission to be in control, to detach, to have your actions be in your control, to have the results be in your control. So the first step is really understanding the gifts that you're working with, and this is where I really implement human design. This is where I really encourage people to understand their charts, because as soon as you stop trying to be all of the things you think you need to be, as soon as you stop trying to be everything that you're not and trying to hold yourself back for who you are, all of those stories again of, oh, I'm not hardworking enough, I am too lazy, I have to work harder, or I am too loud, I need to be quieter in order to be good enough. All of those stories about yourself, we're going to take those off. We're going to break those boundaries. Then the second one is your power. This is where you got a really good glimpse of it today, of just this perception, this difference in this magic when you step back and when you detach and when you understand that. And I mean, it's 2 hours of me talking about this, where you really detach and when you really understand this is where I am and this is where I want to go. How can I tweak this? How can I shift it? How can I feel into it? And then we'll talk about manifesting that as well. So the second step is really owning your power and playing with it and playing and playing and playing, because it's all a game. The third step is mindset. And so once you know who you are, once you've given yourself permission to be who you are, once you can play with your power, then you need your thoughts and kind of that foundation of unconscious awareness. We're going to tweak that so it's supporting your success as well. We're going to shift it. You're going to shift your perceptions, and you're going to shift those undercurrents, those core thoughts, those sponsoring thoughts of fear and faith. We're going to shift those so that those also support you being successful. And then the final step is quantum manifestation. And so it's going to take all of this, it's going to synthesize it into mind-blowing, amazing, next level content. And so that's the foundation. That is what I'm teaching over the next 4 weeks. That is the Intuition Lifestyle Academy. It's everything I know about change and transformation and creating the life that you want. And so, I mean, my own transformation, these are the steps that I took to go from 2 years of trying to make like a coaching business work, trying to make digital courses, trying to make all of this work to, so in February of this year, I'd made $0. And it'd been just over 2 years of me trying and working with this brand and working with all of this stuff. And then in 6 months, so June was my first 5-figure month. And so I went 0 to 5 figures in 6 months. And so it's a quantum leap. It's just embodiment. It's just owning your power. It's giving yourself permission to be big. So I'm teaching you that. And so this is applicable to every area of your life. If you want to be manifesting money, if you want to feel more empowered, if you want to really just step into that version of yourself who knows their purpose and who's living on purpose, who's manifesting what she wants, who's doing what she wants in this life, who's owning her power, who's feeling good about things and choosing to feel good, and who doesn't feel like a victim of her reality. This is for you. You should join us. You should talk to me. Let's chat about it. So every Monday, actually this Monday is the first one, there's going to be a new module, and it's going to be 90 to 120 minutes of me talking about specific topics like this. You'll get to watch the recording as many times as you want. There's homework, there's meditations, there's a Facebook group where we can chat, and then at agreed upon time, we're also going to meet for a coaching call. And so you're going to get 4 coaching calls as well, and then I'll do an extra 1 or 2 if we need, depending on whatever, and it's going to be as long as we need. And so you're going to get access to me. You're going to get my perspective and my brain and my energy applied to your situations. And so you can ask me questions live, you can hear me rant about it, you can explain whatever situation it is, and I can help you shift your perspective in real time, in real life. We can have that conversation. And then in the Facebook group, you also have access to me for as long as you want. So we start Monday. I'm so excited about this because like transformation and up-leveling and change is like, this is my jam. This is my favorite thing to talk about. So if you have any questions about it, I am also I am offering an open payment plan for this as well. If you talk to me, it's not available on my website. I will send it to you if that's something you're interested in. What that is like payment plans for me, they used to cause a lot of anxiety, like knowing, oh my gosh, that like $100 or whatever is going to come out of my account on this day. And even though it wouldn't have been a problem, I like kind of made it into a problem because I would freak out about it. And so I want to take that anxiety away from you so you can really implement this and you can really understand the information and that you don't have that pressure. So an open payment plan is basically I'll send you an invoice and it has like options to pay in increments. And so there's nothing that's automated. And so you can pay whatever amounts work for you. You can time it with your paycheck. You can do more here. You can do more there, whatever it is. And then you have a total of 4 months to pay off the entire thing. So no stress. Nothing is automated. It does require you, like I'll send a couple emails about it, but like less pressure, less stress if that's something that you are interested in. So I think that's all I had to say on the topic. This will definitely be on my YouTube channel because this was a really fun one. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, send me a message and let's chat. I would love for you to join us in Intuition Lifestyle Academy. So thank you.